super over. Yes, sir! You bet your roll, you are! Go get him!
From Sachin Tendulkar to Virat Kohli.
As a captain and as a player, I wouldn't want to keep being part of such games, but Punjab Kings is not for the light-hearted.
If you could create a career that doesn't currently exist, what would it be?
Singer?
That exists, brother.
Gets it back with a point. It's going to run away for 4 and it'll be it. Kolkata Knight Riders are the champions.
The world has changed. The world has changed, and it's mostly for the worse. RCB are now champions of the Indian Premier League.
Yeah.
It's a disappointing world we live in here. Welcome back. Welcome back. My name is Aryan Ori. My pronouns are he, him.
My name is Nick Cates, and my pronouns are he, him. And I finally stopped crying. And that's why we had to go on break, is because I was just bawling my eyes out the whole time for like the past month.
We should address the elephant in the room, which is that they can actually see us now.
I know. Hello. Look at our faces. Aryan's looks way better than mine does because he actually took the time to touch himself up. Look at that. Absolutely fantastic.
Zoom took the time to touch me
Zoom
up.
took the time to touch himself up.
All right. We got a lot to talk about. You want to get started?
Yeah, we had a couple of last matches in the IPL regular season. Most of these didn't have a ton of implications on the overall final standings, but some notable things happened. RCB versus SRH. SRH won by 42 runs, but the reason why we want to talk about it, we were talking on the last podcast about the car at the side of the cricket field, and Abhishek Sharma has hit it. He hit the thing, absolutely cracked the window, and we were wondering if the car might be reinforced with the thinking that somebody might hit it with the ball, but very clearly not.
If I'm not mistaken, the car is the Tata Curvv. Right?
Yes, this year it is.
That's not acceptable. But I will say it is Abhishek Sharma, and the guy hits sixes like it's like eating buttered toast, So maybe it's just Abhishek Sharma. Maybe nothing in the world can withstand an Abhishek Sharma six. Like if we put up a Nokia brick, like those are they're infamously invincible. Right?
That's really interesting.
It's a good experiment to do. When we have him on the pod, we could have him play some cricket and with us and test that theory out.
I'm picking the 6. I think he can beat the brick. If it's like a regulation size Nokia brick and it's getting hit bang on with the 6, I'm going with Abhishek all the way.
That's the question. Are we putting the Nokia in midair? Are we putting it on the ground?
I'm thinking it's like Nokia, like here, like Nokia's right on the ground, and then the 6.
I feel like it would be able to withstand that. But if it was in the air, you know what I mean?
So if you like hang it like directly on the trajectory and like right at the exit velocity, and it just like boom,
I think it would break into a few pieces.
That's
I'm backing Abhishek Sharma because if the Tata Curvv can't withstand it, then I question the structural integrity of anything. Did you know that every time the car was struck, Tata donated 5 lakh rupees to buying cricket kits in underserved regions? Did you know that?
No, I didn't, but that's really nice. They also donated 5 lakh rupees to their local auto repair shop.
There you go. Stimulating the local economy. One broken windshield.
Stimulating the cricket economy and the local economy.
Exactly. You're all set.
Abhishek Sharma is just trying to create jobs over here, okay? Like, you guys can criticize him all you want, but he's just trying to be a job creator.
You can bet on it.
Freaking love that soundboard.
It is excellent. All right. Next up, PBKS DC. I wrote in my notes, Tamasha dined elsewhere in Jaipur this evening. This game was very boring, not just because we lost. It was just like boring. There wasn't much to it. It honestly didn't feel like most T20 cricket matches. And even though we lost, it basically had no bearing on the final standings at all. So, yeah, it almost may as well have not happened.
I mean, it was just such a surprising game because I feel like you guys were kind of chilling. I mean, even though Shreyas freaking killed and Marcus Stoinis with a 44 not out of 16 balls is actually insane. Samir Rizvi like actually
That
kind
was
of
the frustrating part is we got beat by
yeah.
fucking Rizvi.
Yeah, Rizvi like hasn't scored pretty much the whole season and the last couple seasons he's been playing. And for
Scored
him to
like
come
2
out
runs the whole season. It's like boom,
exactly.
58 off 25.
But I think that's kind of what it was. I mean, DC was as good as out, or they were out at
I
this
think
time.
so, more or less. And also, this was the match that got like postponed. So originally, we had batted first and put up 200. I suppose we batted first and put up 200 this time too.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
like I felt like we had more momentum in that match.
Yes, definitely you did. It looked like it was curtains for DC in that first game that was
Yeah,
canceled. But in this game, I mean, it seemed like they just came out thinking, you know what, we have nothing to lose. Let's just go ahead
yeah.
and
And
come
we
out
felt
swinging.
uninspired, even though there was some great. Shreyas had a great innings. Josh Inglis, like I don't know if that was. I don't think that was the beginning of his fantastic form, but continuing his fantastic form.
Hmm.
It wasn't like we played bad. Uh, Bowling wasn't excellent, but Arshdeep 8.75 economy. That's not terrible for him.
I always judge it as based on like, okay, if he's defending 200 runs in 20 overs, that's a 10 run rate, right?
Yeah,
If he's giving 8.75, he's doing his job,
he was
right?
the only guy in our bowling attack doing his job.
RSD with 8.75, no wickets though. Omarzai again very expensive. Harpreet Brar pretty expensive, but with a couple of wickets.
Yeah,
Jansen again, everybody with the 10 plus economy,
yeah.
10.25 economy for Jansen with 1 wicket, and then Praveen Dubey as well, 2 overs for 20 with 1 wicket. I don't know why you guys like to bowl Stoinis. I don't
Yeah, I don't.
know.
I think that's
why.
I think that's a punter thing. We gotta quit that.
Yeah.
With Omar Zai in the squad, there's no point in bowling Stoinis. No
Yeah.
point. I'm sorry, Stoin. I love you, bud, but you know what you're really good at is like hitting 10 balls and all of them go for 6. That's
Mhm.
that's what you're very good at.
I mean, I wouldn't say he's like really good at that either. He's good at it. Like he'll turn up sometimes. He's not as consistent as you probably like him to be.
He
But
used to
again,
be a
I mean, the
lot better
person that
at it,
was
but
yeah, I mean the person that was supposed to be doing that job for you earlier, who you've gotten rid of, thank goodness, is
Glenn.
thank you. So thankfully you've gotten rid of
I
that
put
guy.
him out of my mind, okay?
Yes. Rightfully so, rightfully so. And now you got Stoin.
Now we got Stoin. And we got some other guys. We got Mitch Owen too, who we'll talk about a little later. But let's move on. GT versus CSK. GT got bodied by the worst team in the league. This will become a theme. I don't know if there's more to say about it than that. But they got bodied by the worst team in the league. And then KKR played, and we don't need to talk about that, especially
Only
not.
only because we're wearing KKR jerseys. I feel
Definitely,
like
yeah.
out of respect for the dead, we should not.
And this was just a dumb match that we don't need to talk about. Very silly.
I support the worst franchise in the league. I'll just say that.
That just won a championship.
Well, it's old news now. You're only as good as your last hit. You're only as good as your last movie. That's what we say in the business, right?
Well, your last movie was great, so
Appreciate it. What else we got?
we got PBKSMI. This was the first of what would be 2 PBKSMIs. There's not a ton to say about this one, other than that we did a wonderful job chasing down 184, and we did a wonderful job holding them to 184.
Yeah.
Pretty low scoring rates from the MI batters. And yeah, ours 2 for 28. Marco 2 for 34.
I mean, Josh Inglis, right? You want to talk about that?
73. Yeah, this was his big great breakout game. He was just bashing everybody around. He started out smashing Mitch Santner and just went out from there. He smashed Bumrah in the playoff. So it's not like things changed very much. But yeah, 73 off 42 deliveries. I am a believer in Josh Inglis, although I was before. He took a sec to get going in the IPL, but unlike many other Australian batsmen, I think he got used to it. And if he can make 73 off 42, You're an IPL player.
And I want to say like again, like he's playing against one of the best bowling lineups I'd say in the league. At least the best two bowlers in the league
Yeah.
with Trent Bolt and Jasprit Bumrah.
Well, and
And
Sander
Bumrah,
was on fire.
yes. Well, in a way, I mean, he still gave 10 plus per over.
But before that, he had a couple of good games. I think he
Oh,
like
yes,
totally
yes.
mowed down DC. He took like 4 or 5 wickets.
Yes, but I think mowing down DC is kind of a low bar. But you're right. And so I'd say, and of course, Hardik Pandya. So, albeit he's not had the best bowling year in the IPL this year, but I'd still say he's he gave 29 runs and 2 overs in that game. But I still back him to be one of the better bowlers. And so to play against those four bowlers and start your batting run, kudos. 173 strike rate, that's nuts.
For whatever reason, he loves the MI bowlers, and with Hardik, you have to overcome your immense physical attraction for him at every given moment that he's coming in. Like you have to look at the ball and not his face, but like look at his face. Like how do you not look at that? So it's very difficult, but a lot of credit to Josh Inglis. Priyansh Arya also was 62 off 35. It's a real Priyansh innings right there. That's what he does. And Shreyas with 26 not out off 16. Maybe would have scored more runs, but he didn't have any time. So
he didn't have any more runs left to score.
Nuns. Oh yeah, that's true. It's a chase. That's also time. It doesn't matter. I don't care. I'll own it.
I mean, the guy's average in the last two games against MI were infinity.
That's insane, but that's true.
They couldn't get him out. They just couldn't get him out. He scored 113 runs unbeaten. Because in the second game, which we're going to get to now, the playoff game, he scored 87 off 47.
Yeah.
So,
well, and it's not like it was at the Wankhede and it's his home stadium either. He just destroys the team from Mumbai. One more regular season game I want to get to, which is LSG versus RCB, described by one Deep Das Gupta as a real humdinger. Correct. Rishabh Trousers finally scored all the runs that he was paid to score. Hit a gigantic century, and then he did a front flip afterwards, which was sick and based and red pilled. Made 118 not out, which was very impressive, and then even had some further highlights in the second innings as well. LSG 227 for 3 against the eventual champions, which was pretty impressive and looked like a winning total. But were it not for a certain former Punjab king, Mr. Jitesh Sharma, who finally hit a level of form that he never hit when he played for my team, which made me very sad, but also very happy at the same time.
Yeah. And it's sad for LSG because it was their highest score of the tournament, 227.
I also thought he was a good captain. I thought he did a decent job leading that team. I think with a different captain, that team would have deserved to lose a lot more matches. I don't know. I didn't think that team was all that good overall, save for a few players. And they definitely had terrible management, and they could have lost a lot more than they did. So I'm really glad that he made his 100. And then he did another classy thing in the second innings. And this, I think, is the most important thing that happened in this match, which is so for our football fans here, one of the most controversial things that happens in cricket is called mancating. It's named after a guy called Vinu Mankad, who is otherwise a legend of cricket, but is like basically had his entire reputation ruined by one moment. It's basically like picking off a guy who's walking away from his wicket by taking off the stumps while you're running into bowl. It's considered a dick move. And who else from the IPL, who else that we've talked about this season incessantly would attempt to do this other than Digvesh Rathi? He did it, and I propose that now that Digvesh has attempted this maneuver, I think that calling it the Digvesh is a much more appropriate.
I'd agree. I mean, that guy, look, the thing is like the only thing I don't like about him is his notebook celebration. I told you who I like less is Sai Kishore. I hate that guy. And I'm surprised he's not the one who did it.
Trousers refused the wicket, but he didn't even get mad at him. Like in his post-match interview, he was like, "Yeah, Dick Vaish bowled great," and I'm like, "You're not holding it against him at all that he like did this massive dick move." Trousers doesn't care. He's like, "No, I'll just refuse the wicket and we'll move on. It's no big deal."
I mean, I don't know. I'll always be in the school of thought that as part of the rules, you can digvage anybody you want to. So and especially because like if you're out of your crease as a batter on the runner's end, you are getting an undue advantage, which is wrong. So I would argue that you can do that anytime the batter's out of his crease, right? I'm surprised any captain wouldn't back their bowler to take that wicket. I would
Still
say
the case.
you mentioned that Rishabh Pant captained well. I would push back on that a little bit because I think he tends to be a little too defensive and he tends to get in a little bit late with his bowling changes. I think he had a better team actually than he made it look like. You know, I do think the management is very poor. But I do think that he needs to. I mean, I think his sort of leadership qualities and his captaincy style is kind of being exposed for what it is, which is immature in a way.
Yeah,
I think, he's not able to stay cool on the field. He's not able to really, his cricketing mind isn't that great.
yeah,
I think he's just a very like, let me just see what happens kind of guy.
yeah. And he seems
And
like a fun guy to have around too.
fun guy to have around.
Yeah.
But if he was my captain or if I was in a position where I was taking orders from him or he was my leader, I don't know if he would bring out the best in me. Which is why when the Capitals kind of sank, right? They were
Yeah.
like, oh, he's expendable because he's really not giving us what we need. And then now he's at LSG and he's got a great squad. He's got a really, really good squad. And it's just not coming together.
I don't know how good the bowling lineup is there. I don't know. I think top to bottom, it's might be it's one of the worst in the league. It's at least in terms of the Pacers. There's just not a lot of quality there. Dig
That
Vaish
is
is
true.
one of their best bowlers. I mean, they were counting on Ravi Bishnoi being a lot better, but like
Yes.
Avesh Khan wasn't great. Will O'Rourke gave 74 runs in this match, so that's definitely not excellent. Um,
Yeah.
like they just didn't have any Pacers that were really
Well,
working, and
I'll say this. They were supposed to have Mohsin Khan,
that's true.
right? And Mohsin Khan was injured for the whole season, and they had to bring in. I'm not sure how this works. How
Yeah,
they thought Shardul Thakur would be a good
he was.
replacement for Mohsin Khan. I mean, Mohsin Khan is an express pacer. This
Yeah,
Shardul Thakur was like a
all
medium
rounder.
pacer on a good day.
Yeah,
I guess he's an all rounder, but I don't know. That was crazy to me. Yeah, I mean, you're right. The depth of pacers is extremely lacking,
yeah,
for sure. But I would say their batting, and I guess you're right. You know what? I do think you're right. Their batting kind of turned up the way it was supposed to.
yeah.
It's just that the bowling didn't really do much. So what can you do when you're so yeah, you're right. In a way, them winning 6 games with this kind of bowling lineup is actually pretty impressive.
Yeah, I think he did well with what he had, and I don't know. I just like watching him play. Maybe I'm biased. Maybe I'm just letting the feels get me over the reels. But I've become a big fan of Trousers this year. And
Me
you know
too.
what? I
And
don't
it's funny
think
because it's one of his worst seasons of IPL he's ever played. And we
I
both fell in love
I
with him
think that's
more.
how you know we really love him for who he truly is because
His
it's not
personality
about the
and not his
cricket.
money.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's not
Stupid, stupid, stupid.
to love Rishabh Trousers.
I
You
think
know?
I heard somewhere that Sunil Gavaskar asked him to do a somersault when he scored a century against England recently, and he refused. During the Livingston Test at Headingley, Sunil Gavaskar playfully gestured from the stands, urging Rishabh Pant to recreate his signature somersault. Pant, who had already done the flip after his first innings 134, politely declined Gavaskar's request a second time, signaling he'd save it, maybe later, with a smile.
I guess he's already done it once in the match. Like you can't really ask him to. I don't know.
He's not an acrobat; he's a cricketer.
He's just a cricketer, yeah. Plus, it's Test cricket. You got to save that energy, man. He's gonna have to keep wickets. Like, no, no. In the fourth innings, ugh. You've kept wickets in a fourth innings before. How is it?
It's never fun. Unless I haven't scored all game, then I'm chilling. But if I've been scoring and I'm
Oh,
at the crease for like hours and then I have to come and wicket keep, it took me 4 days to recover.
ow,
Yeah. Because
ow.
I was just super stiff and super sore.
Well, it's just like you're doing so much. At least you didn't have to bowl.
Oh, thank goodness, yeah. But I did have to captain, which is
That
just
yeah, you got to use all your brain power too. All right, PBKS versus RCB. Yeah, we don't really need to talk about this. The first one. Yikes. Yikes, boys.
That was surprising.
Yeah, it was. Well, it was somewhat unsurprising to me because, this is PBKS. We're basically liable for one of these, like, in any game. Um, you experienced that this year. It's just we managed to defend the damn total.
Yeah.
For the first time ever. Yeah, we made 101 from 14.1 overs, and it didn't rain, boys. It rained wickets.
It did.
Yikes. Marcus Stoinis led the charge with 26 off 17. It's worth noting that a lot of players went home before the playoffs. One that didn't was one Josh Hoffenstein Hazelwood.
He Hazelwood suddenly became like the guy, which is crazy to me.
I know.
I didn't expect that.
Yeah, we didn't make a lot of runs. Suyash Sharma also took 3 for 17. Yash Dayal 2 for 26. Sad face. And in the second innings, Kyle Jamieson got Virat Kohli out on like one really, really good over where he swung the ball like crazy. And other than that, yeah, it was trash.
I want to highlight that Phil Salt
Yes.
knows how to play the IPL, and I want to be pissed off at KKR for letting him go.
Yeah.
And that's it.
Definitely would have been better opening than Quentin de Kock, and they probably. Well, who would they have not retained in order to keep him?
You know my answer to this question.
Venky?
For sure.
Yeah.
That guy's trash.
Yeah. I could. Like the problem is last season. I don't know if I could have seen that. Like
Like the
when
season,
the retentions
when we
were
won.
down, like
Yes.
that's the issues that you can only retain 6 players.
The thing is like a player can have a good season, and I think a lot of people say, "Oh, it's a fluke when a bad player has a good season." I don't think so. I think every player who's made it this far has some level of talent, but
Yeah.
is he a retention quality player of like 20 crores kind of deal? I don't think I ever saw that.
Yeah,
Like
no.
his price tag is somewhere between the 6 to 10 crore region.
Yeah.
I don't think it's as high as he's been given right now.
It
And
would-
to release Shreyas Iyer to keep cap space for him, I mean that is a criminal like act, you know?
he had a huge season on a championship team, and they like that he's an Indian all-rounder. Right? But like, you don't want an Indian all-rounder who's an all-rounder and that they're bad at both batting and bowling,
Exactly.
Yeah, you can bet on RC beating us. Yeah, Kyle Jamieson got Virat Kohli to edge. He had one really good over of outswingers that were completely unplayable, and other than that, it was kind of crap. Although it wasn't like that terrible. It was 10 and over for 10 overs, and if we'd scored actual runs, we might have had a chance of winning the match, but we didn't. RCB are going to the finals.
And I think what end up helping them is those like bye weeks or those bye days, I should say, where they had like pretty much a week off with no cricket, which I think really helps. It's a fast-paced tournament, and that's kind of what I mean, Shreyas was also reeling in an injury,
Yep.
but it didn't deter him. But my point is that that week off always helps with a mental reset.
Well, and I also think one thing that really helped RCB in both matches against us is that Marco Janssen left PBKS for the World Test Championship, which he thankfully won, so good work, Marco. At least you left for something and didn't fucking lose to the Australians. That would blow.
Yeah, we can talk about that. I want to talk about the WTC as well.
We could talk about the WCC. That was both a bat and a bowler, a key bowler from our lineup. And an important strategic bat as an all-rounder because just throwing him at the bottom of the lineup.
It's very sad that he was one of your key batters, I must say, though. Because you guys I don't think he was. I think you guys had much better batting. I think
we did.
The 104 all out just was kind of a one-off.
Yeah,
deal.
but like that's the Punjab Kings. It just fucking happens like that sometimes. I've seen this movie before, and it just happened to happen here. I saw this movie again. We were all out for 111, dude. That would have been the same as this. not to rub it in, but that would have been the same as this in most circumstances. We do this from time to time. It's the crest, man. It just does it to you.
Great game, and we were talking about GT versus MI.
Am I accidentally brought up GT versus CSK. Let me correct that.
We're not talking about any CSK game
No,
ever again.
no CSK.
I mean, if Dhoni's still being ambiguous about his retirement, that's what pisses me off. Just say I'm gonna think about whether or not to retire instead of like, well, it's not my last game. Oh, we don't know. Like, just say yes or no.
He's Brett Favre-ing it. He's Brett Favre-ing it.
He's Bradying it is what he's doing.
That's true. Yeah, both of them. He's like,
I bet he's gonna be like, oh, I'm done, and then 3 months later, I'm back.
Dhoni is gonna be like, I'm retiring for one season to become a quarterback, and then talk about whether or not I'm going to retire, and then I'm going to retire again and be and he's just going to run this. He's going to run this racket for several years. Yeah,
he's going to sell a meme coin for his last 6.
Yes,
and
MS dollars. It's going to be great.
MS dollar. That's actually sick.
Dude, I buy some MS dollars. Fuck it.
I already bought MS dollars as we're speaking.
We're gonna end up like actually making our money on $11 billion on a scam Dhoni meme coin. God damn it!
Amazing.
After all the podcast have to do it, but
all the film work, all the theater work, all the podcast work, it's that one meme coin that launched our careers.
Just throw $200 million into podcast promotion, and the rest is history.
The rest is history.
The rest is history.
But this MI GT game was very interesting. I wouldn't have expected GT to implode that hard in the playoffs. And I know you talk about implosion. It was really on the bowling end, right?
Mm-hmm.
Like if you're giving Rohit Sharma 50 runs, not out of 28 deliveries.
Well, and some terrible fielding there too. There were a lot of drop catches for the GTs.
Yeah, that's the thing. That's the kind of thing that that's what'll preclude you from winning tournaments.
Yep.
Right. And this is a team that's already won one under, ironically, the captain that they got defeated by.
Yeah.
So it's tough to see them concede 228 runs and see any way out of that, right? And especially with Bairstow playing the way that he played, and the whole they hit 17 sixes. Rohit Sharma crossed 7,000 IPL runs and he crossed 300 IPL sixes, which is crazy.
It's insane. Yeah, the fielding was really inconsistent from GT, and they just felt like they lost all their steam. In the CSK match, it was the same way. They looked like a top side earlier in the season, and I don't know what happened. They ran out of steam, they ran out of form. But I think that the way their season ended shows just how much their good form was kind of being propped up by their top 3 batters. And you do anything about any one of their top 3 batters, you just have to make sure not all 3 of them score a bunch of runs on you, and it's relatively easy to beat this team. And it seems like the bowlers were just kind of on a heater.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, I'll if you look at their scorecard, like Prasidh Krishna, he took 2 wickets, but he gave 53 runs in 4 overs.
Siraj, Sai Kishore 242.
Thank God for that. You'd love to see that. And for some reason, Coutier, am I pronouncing that correctly?
South African guy.
Coutier. You're giving him, 51 runs in 3 overs.
Why are you giving him 3 overs?
You have Sundar.
Washington Sundar, yeah.
Yeah. You have Sundar.
Shah Rukh Khan, Tewatia can give you overs if you need them.
I mean, it's so weird that Tewatia is being played as a specialist, like, pinch hitter who bats at, like, literally with 8 balls to spare in the innings when he has bowled before.
He's playing as a specialist Punjab Kings murderer, and he didn't do that job this year.
Exactly.
He was exceedingly poor.
So what are you keeping him around for?
I mean, know. Yeah, let's sign him so he'll never kill us again.
Exactly. Rashid, and you said let's, and you're wearing a KKR jersey. Just saying. Rashid Khan gave 31 and 4 overs, which means leg spin was working, right? Spin was working.
Yep.
And Washington only gave 7 runs in 1 over. So what are you waiting? Why aren't you trying with Tewatia? If Kudzi gave 51 in 3 overs, that's crazy.
Yeah, no, it doesn't make much sense. But they just didn't have that dog in them late in the season, GT. And by the time they came to bat, the energy just wasn't there, and Bumrah came in and just smacked the hell out of them. A couple of nasty Yorkers, and that was that. They did make it to 208, so 208 for 6, not bad, but not good enough. You can't feel safe with 208. I think we won our first match in Ahmedabad with like 221 or something like that.
Yeah.
Something around there. So yeah, it's not enough. And with the depth that MI have in terms of batting, it's not yeah, it's not going to do it chasing or setting the total. It doesn't matter. So yeah, 228 for 5 got it done for MI. And so they moved on to
They
face
moved. They moved on
the battered, the broken, but the not beaten Punjab Kings
once more.
once more. This is one of my favorite IPL matches of all time.
I'm
This is
sure.
I think I can say this is kind of the high point of my time as a Punjab Kings fan, right? More or less. This
Huge. It's a
was
big deal.
yeah, I mean, I don't know if it's the high point all time. I think maybe like halfway through the IPL final of 2014 is maybe the peak of the Punjab Kings so far.
I mean, this is something like how many editions have we had of the IPL? Like 17?
Yeah.
This is the first time this has ever happened in Mumbai that they lost an IPL match after scoring over 200 runs.
See, that's the thing, bro. You'll know this better than almost anybody as a KKR fan. When that word never comes into play, that's when we come out to play. Like, if you say this has never been done, like literally all we do is say hold my beer. Like, that's
Yep.
our entire brand.
For better or for worse.
Yes, exactly. That's the Punjab Kings in a nutshell, right there.
Yeah.
And our owner's husband might be a plant.
Exactly.
So we restricted Mumbai to 203,
There we go.
which in Ahmedabad, you can take that.
That's great in Ahmedabad.
Yeah, that's not bad at all. Like we were saying, 228 in Mullanpur is like that's pretty much unchaseable. We restricted them to 203 for 6. Some really strong bowling from the boys. Kyle Jamieson, I think this was his second or third game with us. Really, really good for us in the playoffs. Once he kind of got used to being in India, he was really, really strong. Not a ton of wickets. I mean, I suppose 6 wickets, but fairly well spread out amongst the team. But the headline is the run rate. The headline is keeping it down, and with Arsh having a terrible game and going at 11 per over. So yeah, Kyle Jamieson 1 for 30, 7.5 and over, and Chahal kept it under 10 and over as well. So both of those guys did a really good job keeping things tight. And Omar Zai took 2 wickets,
For once
which
in his life.
exactly. Well, I love that man. I'll be happy with almost anything he does.
I love him too. I just wish he wouldn't leak so many runs. I mean, the more I've seen him in the IPL, the more I've seen he's been pretty much exposed by many batters to be kind of erratic and highly uneconomical.
It's his first year in the IPL, though, right? And I think that honestly, one of the biggest mistakes we made this season was leaving him out of so many games and playing Glenn instead. Because Omar Zai played certainly well enough to be in the team every single match that he played. He made contributions with bat and ball in all of them, and I was disappointed seeing him left out of the squad, especially for Glenn, who was basically just fucking useless. But the headline of this match, of course, came in the second innings. We had a few struggles at the beginning. Josh Inglis was kind of able to stabilize things for us, our resident fireman, as he's been growing into within the PBKS squad. But the headline knock from this match was the amazing 87 not out off 41 deliveries from none other than captain, my captain, Shreyas Iyer.
This man is having a run. This man was having a run that paralleled Virat Kohli in his peak, and no one's really talking about it that much. That's what's crazy to me. I mean, he wasn't taken to England for the test matches, and he's been kind of boycotted by the Indian management, really. But he's such a huge asset for whatever team he plays for, and this kind of run it really does parallel Kohli in his peak. It just never not scores.
I think that it was absolutely unbelievable. He was hitting everybody. Brief remention of Josh Inglis smacking the hell out of Bumrah. I think he hit him for 21 runs off 1 over, which was insane. But Shreyas started out like 12 off 11, I think. and like or maybe like he was scoring very slowly in the early part of this innings, and then he absolutely exploded to get to 87. And some of these shots were insane. He dug out a Bumrah Yorker like straight into the stumps, like right in the block hole. Perfect. Bumrah couldn't have done anything else, and he glanced it for four towards third man. Absolutely insane stuff. I don't know if I've ever seen anything like that.
Glanced it for four towards third man.
Yeah, he literally opened the face of his bat, jammed it down,
Oh,
and it went for four behind third man.
fair enough. Fair enough. I've never heard the term glance as anything except for a leg glance.
I guess it's not to the leg side, but it wasn't like it was more of it wasn't really a cut shot, right? It was a
It was
Yorker, so
yeah, it was a open the face of the bat. It's not quite a French cut because a French cut is under the bat.
yeah, I don't know. I don't know what you'd call this. Um Genius is what it was.
Genius, yeah, genius shot.
Absolutely. But this was what really brought us home. It wasn't much of we got it done in 19 overs. It wasn't, much of a too much of a sweat by the end, other than Shashank getting himself run out really, really poorly, because he just wasn't running very hard because he thought it was going to be an easier two than it actually was. That's okay, because we haven't talked about the final yet. Let's do that now.
Do it. Let's
PBKS.
get right into it.
Let's get right into it. PBKS advanced to rematch RCB in the final. A couple of important developments beforehand, both in my life and surrounding the match, that made me think we were going to win. The first of which being that Drake bet on RCB.
And we both had very differing opinions about this. I knew as soon as Drake bet for RCB, I even sent you a screenshot. I was like, it's over. It's over, boys. And you said, you're right, it is over, but in the opposite way. And I was like, we'll just see. Because I love my boy Champagne Boppy, and I think he gets it right often.
I saw that text. And I started listening to Not Like Us like 50 times.
Sickening display.
So many times. So we had that. Then Rishi Sunak showed up on the broadcast. Not sure why they did this. And he professed his love for RCB, which made me feel really bad.
Are you serious?
I am dead serious, bro. Dead serious.
What?
He was in there during the innings break with Mayanti. I was driving to jury duty, listening to like somebody who I thought was like perfect and pure, then talking to fucking Rishi Sunak and being like, "How could you do this with a straight face, Mayanti? How can you betray me like this?"
That's insane. And that he likes RCB as well.
And think of all the RCB fans who are like totally innocent, who just wanted to watch their team win a final. And like you already post like a kind of like maybe slightly below par total, and then like boom, Rishi Sunak. What the fuck, bro? Like that's so mean.
Was he talking any sense, like, cricket wise?
I'm not convinced that man knows anything about cricket. I'm just gonna say it.
Yeah, fair.
Like he was just saying, I don't know. I can't do a dumb enough English accent to really sound like Rishi Sunak, but like it was just like, we're so glad we're here at the IPL final. My wife is from Bangalore, so I'm going for RCB. And I'm like, Star Sports, like what? Who has the incentive to put him on television? Like I've never heard of anybody who actually likes that guy.
You're speaking to him.
Really? Damn.
The only reason I don't know any of his policy positions, but he's just the first Indian to ever govern the United Kingdom, and that to me is just
that is kind of cool.
That's an all-time achievement that I don't know what his policy positions were, so don't at me for that. But I mean, that's hero level, god level stuff.
Also, I think the last time he was on television was when he was calling the election, and he got like totally soaked, and he did it in the middle of a rainstorm like an idiot.
I think that's smart. I think he's a man of the people. He gets drenched in rain like just like the next guy.
But he's like right outside his house. Just get an umbrella, dude.
Or get drenched. And you'll be talked about on the biggest podcast.
Biggest podcast ever. That's true. I don't know. I just think they might have wanted to call they might have wanted to call Duckworth, Lewis, and Stern for that speech. That's all I'm saying. It's the final. They let Rishi Sunak on the broadcast. The PBKS bowling attack, I thought, was quite strong to hold RCB to only 190 for 9 in Ahmedabad. That was a total that we should have chased. Virat Kohli, 43 off 35. You'll take that. Patidar 26 off 16, and Liam Livingston taking some revenge with 25 off
Did you
15.
wait? Did you say you'll take 43 of 35 from Kohli?
Yes,
No, I
not a
wouldn't
high
take that.
strike rate.
I think that was garbage. I think that was garbage, just like his ICC T20 World Cup final innings was garbage, which is about like 100, like like 130 or 40 strike rate.
Yeah.
If
I'm
you
not saying I'm saying that as PBKS, I'll take that 43 off
as
35.
PB,
Like
yeah,
taking up
perfect.
that many. Yeah, I'll take that. We'll take that.
Yeah. I mean, there's so much like compensation that had to be done after his innings from Romario Shepherd, from
Yep.
Jadesh, from Livingston, from Patidar, from Agarwal, from all of these five. First of all, Mayank Agarwal
Yeah,
coming in clutch.
we didn't even mention him. Yeah, last seen like phasing out of existence as PBKS captain.
Yeah. Yeah. And he's coming in one down for RCB in the final. I mean, wow. Good
Yeah,
on you.
he's still not making it 24 off 18. Like that's not outstanding,
It's not outstanding, yeah. But it's not like, oh lol, he came and went,
Yeah.
like Garo Nair did after he scored his 100 and then the next game he was out for like 0 or whatever.
Yeah, but I mean, we got 9 guys out. Like, I'm happy with that. Philly S out for 16 off 9. I'm very happy with this bowling. It was not our bowlers that let us down. Arsh 3 for 40, not great economy, but he took 3 wickets. Kyle Jamieson 3 for 48, terrible economy, but he took 3 wickets. And everybody else took a wicket and was under 10 runs and over. Omarzai 8.75 from 4 overs. Boom, there you go.
You're not booming the person you should be booming.
Who should I be booming?
Vaishak Vijay Kumar.
Okay, he did prove me kind of wrong because he can bowl more than one delivery.
You just don't want to give it to him. He is the man. He's VVK. VVKS is what he is.
VVKS, I like that. I just seen him get pumped too much, and as good as he was against
4 overs for 30 runs and 1 wicket. Go ahead. Sorry.
In this match there were other matches that he played too where he gave up more runs and didn't take as many wickets. Also, I will point out after the first match, which was kind of like his most important match of the season, you literally said that Sherfane Rutherford was playing for us and that it wasn't that Vaishak was better than him. And I kind of disagreed with you, so I don't know if I'll say that I won't give it to Vaishak. I'm just not that impressed with him. And also, I wanted Kuldeep Sen to get a game, and it was because of Vaishak that he didn't. So,
but 30 runs in 4 overs, I think you take
pretty
that.
excellent.
Especially, I must say, Iyer is very. I love his confidence as a captain to only use 5 bowlers in the final.
Yep.
That to me is like, it's great because I mean, even if you look at the RCB bowlers, for example, they use 6.
Yep.
And they bowled, 3 bowlers bowled less than 4 overs quota. Dayal, Suyash, and Romario.
Yeah, so, Suyash wasn't on quite like he was in the first match.
I mean, he didn't do as bad as Hazelwood did in the final. Goodness gracious.
Yeah, wow. Yeah, that was the crazy thing was that he got pumped.
Yeah.
It was Krunal Pandya. You just got beat by fucking Krunal Pandya. You just got beat by Johnny Drama. Johnny Drama. This is the part of the Entourage movie where Johnny Drama wins the Golden Globe, guys. Yeah, there's worse things. I don't know. There's people I as much as I love Drama's brother, I would have hated losing to MI a million times more.
Really?
Yeah.
But don't you love Hardik? This is what's confusing me.
I love him, but I don't like. It's kind of like enjoying a player on a team you hate. Like you can do it, right?
The thing is, if he's this is why I like MI now. Like literally, my whole I hated MI, as you know, right? When Brohit was captain.
Yeah.
But as soon as Hardik went there, as soon as they gave him the respect he deserves, as soon as they gave him the captaincy over Rohit, I was like, hey. I like this team because the team is now Hardik. He's the captain, right?
They never should have released him before the mega auction. They basically. I still don't think we know under what circumstances GT traded him back to MI. First of all, and that might have been like a fuking ransom exchange.
I think what I heard was there was a captaincy clause involved. There was like a large payment up, on the books, and a softer payment.
I heard that his cousin stole a bunch of money from him, and that was why he had. This is totally unfounded and might be from a gossip site, but apparently he has a cousin who stole a bunch of money from him, and that's why he had to go crawling to the Ambanis. Apparently, this is internet speculation.
What? I'm
Look
gonna
up
look
it.
this up.
His cousin's name is Vaibhav Pandya is the guy's name who supposedly scammed him. Vaibhav Suryavanshi is named after him. Not.
Not. Vaibhav, who is Hardik's stepbrother, was arrested by the Mumbai Economic Offences Wing for allegedly forging documents and cheating Hardik and Krunal Pandya of approximately 4 to 4.5 crores related to their joint polymer business. They
Now
were
that's weird. I didn't even remember that part, that there was a polymer business involved.
forging their signatures, siphoning money by secretly forming another trading firm, diverting profits, and inflating his own share from 20% to 33%. He was then remanded to EOW custody, and the case is still in progress.
Damn. That's like the Shohei interpreter thing a little bit.
Yeah. Well,
Except not with
Shohei,
gambling.
and Shohei wasn't really involved, if you really look at it, right? Like he was just kind of there.
Well, he's appearing on the podcast next week, so he was
So what we're
not
telling him.
really involved. He absolutely never. Nothing to do with it. All right. Well, we can finish up this. We can finish up this final nice and quick.
Let me do. Okay, I finished up the final.
So, to the PBKS innings. It started off decent enough. A little bit of slow scoring. Another great innings from Josh Inglis, 39 off 23. And then we get to Shreyas. Shreyas had a soft dismissal. Second ball, edged it to the keeper. This was soft, man. He didn't need to play at this one. It was heartbreaking too because of like what he had just done, and like the stage was perfectly set for him to same stadium and everything. He hadn't been dismissed in Ahmedabad all season.
Damn. And of all the people to give you a wicket to, Romario, huh?
Yep. And against Romario Shepherd. So ultimately the biggest problem for us was that we scored way too slow through the entire innings and never really picked it up. A little bit of personal news from my end and how I watched this match. And this was also something that made me think that we were going to win, was that I was called in for jury duty the same morning that the match was happening. So I thought, like, that's the most whack place I could ever watch my team win the championship. We are definitely winning while I'm on jury duty.
Oh, for sure.
The real spiritual reason for it, I honestly think, was just that, like, the operative part of the match where we were batting too slow, where we kind of, like, just ticked it over and lost it, was during jury instruction. So I couldn't have my phone out and watch the match. So I missed I basically watched all of the match except for that one part. Yeah, and then I turned it back on and Shashank hit a bunch of sixes. It's funny because the last ball of the match, Shashank absolutely creamed. Like you see him just like obliterated out of the park, and then all the RCB players come onto the field celebrating, and it's like, it's almost weird because like, God, he beat the hell out of this ball. Like it was almost like an I've won, but at what cost moment. Like he destroyed 61 off 30. Made up for his very sad run out in the previous match.
Yes.
was
Remain not out. The only one. Marcus Soines came and hit a six and got a 6 and out for the boy.
Yep.
And that was really, it was such a like a
Nahal, 15 off 18. Nahal, that was you, dog. You hit seriously, you hit 1-4 and we probably win the match. Devastating, man. Sad face. But I think we have one last step to close out the IPL season for our respective teams, and that is to decide who each of us want for our respective teams to return next year. All right. So for Punjab Kings, some of these are going to be pretty obvious, but I'm going to go through them all anyway, and the sort of less obvious ones, I will give you my justification for each. Shreyas Iyer, obviously captain, coming back. Nehal Wadera, Priyancharya, young Indian superstars, coming back. Josh Inglis earned his retention over the back half of the season, 100%, both with the bat and with the gloves. I'm excited to see him as our wicketkeeper next year. Prabh Simran, obviously, for many years. Wasn't always obvious to me. Obvious now.
He's only obvious to me now this year. Like last year was like, oh, good season. This year, I mean, undeniable.
Yeah, got to keep that opening pair together. They're going to just keep growing together. Marcus Stoinis, I'm keeping him around. I think I have faith.
What are the stats behind Marcus Stoinis this season?
I mean, strike rate was through the damn roof. He only hit about 2 balls, but he hit both of them for 6. So, it was.
Because is he worth a retention? Is my question.
I
Or could you
suppose
get a better all-rounder in his stead?
of who's going to be available.
Yeah.
I don't know. I also like him, and also Stoinis destroys Punjab Kings, so it's kind of like Destroynus, exactly. It's like the Tevatia principle. I have him on my team so he doesn't destroy us.
Yeah.
Not quite as traumatic as Tevatia, but still lots of especially playing for Delhi would destroy us. 186.05 for that strike rate this year.
Goodness gracious.
Pretty righteous. 285 in the death overs
This year or all time?
this year.
Okay, well then, yeah, there you go. I'll take it.
I'll take it. Even if he got out cheaply a couple of times. Shashank Singh, real Slim Shady, obviously. Azmatullah Omarzai, yes, love him. Want to bring him back. We talked about him.
That's dicey.
I'm keeping him. Marco
But
Janssen.
there's no. That's out of pure emotion. That's not like
Some of that is pure emotion, but I like him.
I mean,
I want to keep him.
he's really your fourth foreign player slot. Like you're really like okay with that.
Yep. I think he's got potential. I don't know. I like him. I'm a fan. And I don't think he's going to do anything in cricket over the next year or the next few months that's going to make us not want to retain him. So I want to retain him.
Famous last words.
One player I skipped actually earlier up on the list. I'm dropping Glenn Maxwell. I am keeping Mitchell Owen. I would like to retain Mitchell Owen. He didn't do crazy things in the IPL this year. He scored about as many runs as Glenn, but his fielding was better and his bowling is serviceable, and he has been absolutely lighting Major League Cricket on fire in the same way that he absolutely lit the Big Bash on fire. I want to keep this guy in my squad, even almost as a stash type player. Yeah, I really like Mitch Owen. I thought we should have picked him up instead of Glenn in the first place. Like there was no use buying Glenn in the first place. We should have just had Mitch Owen the whole time. I want to keep Mitch Owen. Marco Janssen, I think that's a pretty obvious retain. Really good with us. Really good for us with bat and ball this year. The Shedge Fund, Suryansh Shedge. I am keeping him because I don't want to rebid for him in the auction because I, again, think he's going to tear up domestic cricket again, and we're not going to want to bid a bunch of money for him in the auction next year. And again, done massive things with the bat in Indian domestic cricket, and his bowling he bowled 3 solid overs for us this year, and unfortunately we bowled him for a 4th that didn't go super well. But I have faith that his bowling can get better and he can be a solid all-rounder for us. Arshdeep Singh, we're not doing that again. Keeping him. This is a bit controversial. I'm open to feedback on this. We can't retain Kyle Jamieson because he was brought in after the break. I would like to retain Lockie Ferguson, even though he got injured. He's shown himself as capable of leading our bowling attack. And even if we only get 3 or 4 games out of him, I think he's worth it. And I thought he was pretty exceptional when he bowled for PBKS this year.
One of the things about Lockie Ferguson that makes him an attractive retention is that he's very intelligent.
Yep.
Like he's a very smart bowler. The problem with him, of course, is that he's very erratic. Like sometimes he'll bowl that outside off, like easy cut for 6 delivery.
Yeah.
But those changeups, those slower balls, those in swingers, they are lethal and they're very intelligent. So
yeah.
I back that retention actually.
If he hadn't gotten injured, I think he's the type of guy that, well, it wasn't our bowling that failed us in the final, but like I think our bowling attack, had he not gotten injured, would have looked a little more consistent over this season because he was really consistent for us in the front half of the year. He was our best bowler until he got injured.
Yeah.
So I want to keep him. Chahal, yes, I know he was expensive, but when we needed him, he came through. I loved having him on the team this year.
Took a hat-trick against KKR.
Hat-trick was against CSK. He just...
he took a hat-trick against us, didn't he? Or he did it when he was playing for Rajasthan, I believe.
Yeah. No, he's just taken the most wickets against KKR of anybody.
Yeah.
So if they don't retain him, maybe a good pickup for KKR for precisely that reason. Although I think that he'd probably go for the same price as he did last year. Because if anything, he had a better season. So next up, Harpreet Brar. I think this is almost probably kind of a layup of a retention. They've retained him basically every single year. I don't think they're letting him go. And
Do you want to retain Mitch Owen even though he didn't? What did he do for you guys this year? Nothing, right?
he took a couple of catches and he played a couple of balls, but it's based off
Did
of
he
what
play a
I've
couple?
seen.
He got for Duck, right?
Yeah,
In the one game he played against Rajasthan.
yeah, but I'll give him one fucking duck in the IPL in his first ever match.
And his last ever match.
I doubt that, man. You should see some of the MLC innings. He's going nuts.
Oh, really?
Yeah, and he's bowling well in the MLC too. Yeah, I like him. Yeah, Harpreet Brar. They're not going to drop Harpreet Brar. They're just not going to do it. And he had a
I
good
don't
year
know.
this
Is
year.
he? I mean, what is so special about Harpreet Brar? I don't think he's anything special. I think he's
He destroys. He usually destroys RCB. That might have been one of our big problems is that we didn't use him enough.
yeah, probably.
Seriously, like he is. Did he even play? He didn't play. That's why we fucking lost. We didn't play Brar CB. Oh, I should have known that. Yet 5 bowlers, but none of them was Brar CB.
Yep.
They call him Brar CB for a reason, bro. He did. Oh my god. He might have a better record against RCB than like any other player in the history of the IPL. I have no idea why he wasn't picked. That's nuts. I would not have picked as well as Vaishak did. I would have.
I mean, he had a wonderful average. He did a 19-run bowling average with an economy rate of 8.6, strike rate of 13.2, which is about 2 wickets per game. And he had 10 wickets in 7 innings, which is pretty good.
And he's useful with the bat. He's not outstanding, but he's useful, and he can definitely hit some sixes. That's for damn sure.
Define useful. Like he can hold a bat?
No, he can hit a 6. He'll hit you for. I mean, I think MI in the first match against MI for us during the regular season, like they tried playing like a really aggressive field against him, and he just bashed it out of the ground.
I think, yeah, he only hit 1/6 the whole season though. His batting average was 11.
He wasn't like Janssen was coming in ahead of him. Omarzai was coming in there were 8 guys coming in ahead of him. He was coming in at number 9. So
strike rate. But yeah, so I don't think you can say he's useful with the back. I don't think you're really relying on him to be useful with the bat.
But for a number 9, he's damn useful with the bat. If you're 7
damn
down.
Useful, that's what I'm saying. Damn useful is a stretch. His strike rate is 84.6. Is that useful? Does it sound useful to you?
I've seen him make some innings. I like him. I think he's useful. I'll die on this hill. Just like I'll die on the hill of Rohit Sharma being a left-hander, okay?
That was crazy. That was unbelievable.
I will die on that hill. All right. I only have 2 more. And the second one is kind of like a split retention, which I think you're going to have a lot of opinions about. Xavier Bartlett, I want to keep him. Some of that is because I just watched him make like 60 runs with the bat, which is not being his specialty in MLC, which I know is not the same level of league, but anybody can go on a heater even in the IPL. And I thought X was pretty strong for us this year, especially as, his first season in the IPL, his first season on the big stage. I have a feeling that Punter's going to retain him anyway, and I won't be sad. Last one is the twin one, which is Kuldeep Sen and Vaishak. I would like to retain one out of these 2 guys. I don't know which one. My heart says Kuldeep Sen. My head says Vaishak.
If I were you, I would probably go for Kuldeep Sen.
That's what my heart says, because he's a more interesting prospect. But Vaishak has done more in the IPL.
Yeah, because he's had more games as well. Right?
I don't know why Kuldeep Sen didn't get a game this year. I have no idea.
I think he was injured, right?
I didn't see anything about him having an injury. Maybe he was, but he was with the team the whole time. He was suiting up. He was in uniform.
Oh no, he was there.
He was, running around the boundary with the Shedge Fund and all the homies,
Yeah, I don't know why. Yeah, I don't know why you guys make some very interesting selection choices.
Yeah.
And not just you. I mean, pretty much the whole IPL. They always have these bizarre reasons for why they. I mean, yeah, Kuldeep Sen has played a total of 9 IPL matches. I don't know how many Vaishak has played. Okay, he played 7 matches for RCB 2 years ago.
Yeah.
And then this year he's played 16 matches.
IPL, yeah, 16.
He's played 16 matches. So there you go. That is almost double the games that Kuldeep Singh has played. So he's played more games, which gives him more
Yeah.
sort of, you know.
Still the career economy of 10.38. And actually, he had his highest career economy this season of 10.65, despite what that performance in the final. And as much as he isn't one dimensional, he proved that for much of the season. Like, he was at least used as, you are the guy who bowls the wide Yorkers. That's what we want from you. You go out there, you bowl the wide Yorker, and then you go out and field. That's all we want from you.
Yes.
All men do is bowl wide Yorker, eat hot chip, and lie. Okay.
Yeah. I would say Vaishak is not. I'd say between those two, it's Kuldeep for sure.
Yeah.
Although you got to give him more chances, otherwise there's no point in retaining
Yes.
him.
Yes. I agree too, and that's why I want to retain him, because I just want to see him have a chance in the squad. That's also some of why I'm not retaining Yash Thakur, because I
Right.
don't think that he was good enough, and I think that definitely his
But
results need to improve in domestic cricket before he's probably going to get an IPL shot again. I
yeah,
don't think it's unrealistic. I'm not. Even if we pick him up in the auction, like I'm not retaining him. You know, he
I do
fucking
not like.
shaved when he shouldn't have.
Yeah, I don't like Yash Thakur. I don't think he's a good enough bowler to. I mean, I will say that he's had good performances. He's had a 5 wicket haul and a 4 wicket haul in the
Yeah.
IPL before. He's proven that he's worth being at this stage. But I just never saw that. Wow, what a bowler kind
Yeah.
of deal.
This
there's
was
certain
his
people-
year. This was his shot. If he'd played better, he would have been in Vaishak's role. He would have gotten all those games, except for the first one. But like, he would have played 4 more matches. It's just he went out there against SRH and got pumped. And he went out there against, I think it was RR, and he didn't get like totally pumped, but he wasn't excellent, you know. And I don't blame them for leaving him out of the squad. So those are my retentions. I don't know what the rules are going to be. These may not even be legal retentions. We may not be able to retain this many foreign players, and they might not let us keep Mitch Owen, even though they fucking should.
I mean, this isn't even a mega auction we're going into, so you're fine.
That's what I thought. That's why I retained. But it said that because of I was reading stuff about the new rules say only 6 players, but all that stuff's from 2024, and I'm like, yeah, that's for the mega auction. You know, they're not doing that again.
Right.
I fucking hope not, or we're losing most of these guys. Fuck.
Right.
I don't know who I would retain here at a mega auction. That's like Shreyas or Shashank. Oh god.
Shreyas, Arsh, Prab Simran.
Yeah, it's like Prab Priyansh, maybe Marco Janssen, or Chehel.
Yeah, you're probably right to match a couple of those guys, and then you have to let everybody else go.
Yeah, I wouldn't. I'm not excited for the next mega auction.
Yeah. Hopefully some people start performing really poorly so you have an easier go of it.
An easier go of it.
Should we take a look at mine?
Let's take a look at the KK Riders.
KK Riders. It's fairly straightforward. I think there's not going to be a lot of debate here. Ajinkya, got to retain him for the 2 more years that he has left in T20 cricket, probably.
Yep.
Rinku Singh had to be done, right?
Yep.
Unkrish Raghuvanshi will probably end up being the captain of this franchise if we stick with him. Unlike us not sticking with Surya Kumar Yadav. I don't know why we didn't do that. Or Shubman Gill for that matter. We're
not really fans of Surya Kumar Yadav on this podcast, though. Let's be honest.
We're not. Yeah, we would have been though. Our whole lives would have been different if it weren't for that transfer. Well, Rinku Singh, yeah, Ankush Raghuvanshi, as I said, franchise future. Ramandeep Singh is probably the only like controversial one on this because he had a horrible season this year. But I've seen what he can do in the MLC and in the IPL.
No.
Last year, for example, I mean, he's a really good hitter. I think he's kind of being overshadowed a little bit by the likes of Russell and Rinku, and he's coming in after them. And then he's got like 3 balls. Literally, like if Russell has like 12 or 14 balls, he's like Ramandeep's got 3 or maybe 2.
Yeah.
It's actually a shock when he has 10 or 11 balls left because then he's like, wait, well, what am I supposed to do? Build an innings here?
Yeah.
So that's tough. Andre Russell has to be. Sunny Narain has to be one.
Yeah.
Here's one that really breaks my back and hurts my heart. But for the good of the company, for the good of my shareholders, it has to be said, it has to be done. It is gonna be Varun Chakravarti. I mean, I can't deny it no longer that he's a great bowler. He always proves it with number of wickets and with economy rate. It's unfortunately it's gotta be Varun Chakravarti.
When I get rich and I need a house designed, you know who I'm calling. That's all I'm saying.
You're gonna call Gauri Khan?
No, I'm calling Varun Chakravarti.
Oh, thank you for clarifying. Varun Chakravarti over David. And the final two are also pretty obvious. I'd say Harshit Rana and Vaibhav Arora. I think they're the two great, like they're sort of the pillars of our fast bowling attack. We need them because we have been struggling with our pace attack for a long time. I mean, especially when we gave away Mitchell Stark, which
Yeah.
I'd say was the right call. Because Mitchell Stark only came through in the last 2 or 3 games, and we don't have time to get him to warm up.
Well, and I don't know if we all saw coming kind of the, massive resurgence of Australian Test pacers and their dominance of the wickets this year. And like I didn't pick Josh Hazelwood to mow through the entire IPL.
Yeah, I mean, either.
No, you didn't. And plus, he was on such a high. Like they would have had to retain him at like, would they? I don't know if they would have had to retain him at 24 crores, but like that was a lot. They would have had to pay big money to keep it, more than Delhi paid to take him on.
It would have really pissed me off if they had retained Mitchell Stark and at the same time they had let Shreyas Iyer go.
Yeah.
That would have really pissed me off because it's just bad business. Forget about team man. It's just bad business.
Yeah. Yeah. No, it didn't make much sense. All right, man. Those are some good retentions. I'd be into those squads if they took our advice, and we'll be back to talk about when they don't and why we're so angry about it. Because another guy who's been tearing up Major League Cricket is Glenn Maxwell, and I swear to fucking God, no, he does not deserve another shot. For the opposite reasons of Mitch Owen, I do not have any faith in Glenn to hit sixes anywhere other than the Oakland Coliseum, which is honestly kind of a shock that he even did it there.
I don't know how he scores runs. I think it's just
I saw it in person, and I don't know if I have anything more to add for you.
he's playing for Washington Freedom, as I'm sure you already know. But
He's captaining Washington Freedom, which I'm like, how do they win games? They win games because they have Mitch Owen. Anyway, one last thing before we leave the IPL, I wanted to take some time and speak about what happened at the RCB fan celebration when RCB returned to Bengaluru. For those of you who don't know, there was a lot of disorganization in the planning of the sort of parade fan rally event that typically follows a championship. And there were an excessive crowd of people that crowded into the Chinnaswamy Stadium to receive RCB. And there was a massive human crush at the entrance to the stadium. Several RCB fans were killed, many more were injured. This is a sad event that has happened across continents with a lot of sports teams. It happened very tragically twice to Liverpool Football Club within a period of, I think, 10 years. And unfortunately, we seem to have a culprit here, which is the people who run RCB. Maybe the only RCB fans you should, feel a little bit of happiness for. In this moment, who were encouraging people to come into the Chinnaswamy, even though there weren't really tickets and there wasn't security or gate controls. According to the Karnataka government, they didn't coordinate with the police or the security at all. And the parade route was not very long either. It was only like a mile or a mile and a half. I remember back in November when the Dodgers won the championship, this was something that I really derided them for, was that the parade portion was so short and that they were mostly doing a paid ticketed stadium event. In retrospect, I'm glad they sold tickets to the stadium event. They just should have been free. But this is really tragic, and RCB fans don't deserve this. And I hope folks will be able to still enjoy the championship that they won, in spite of the fact that the people that run their team completely failed them.
yeah, my heart goes out to everybody who was obviously killed and injured in that incident, and to everybody who witnessed that event, because it's obviously a traumatizing thing to live with. And I hold a heavy heart for my people, because that, and for all those who were so excited about RCB winning a trophy. And it's a simple thing, it's a sports team. You go out to celebrate, and it turns that tragic. It's hard to swallow for a fan. I just feel for my countrymen, So yeah, it's hard to recover from something like that.
It is. Yeah. I think that, I don't know. All those folks were cricket fans, man. You know, they're just like us. And the thing about a human crush is that like even if you survive it, being in that situation, being totally trapped, like that's gonna take a real even if you don't witness any of the things that happen, just being in that situation where you're so crowded around by people, it's a really traumatic experience. I don't know. There's nothing wrong with waiting 2 or 3 days before you have the parade. You
Yeah.
know, planning things out, doing things right, getting, your open top buses. I'm sure there's plenty of room, on the streets of Bengaluru for everybody who wants to see the parade. Um, and yeah, I hope that this will never happen again, and I hope it won't happen in any other sports too.
Yeah.
And we saw it in music. We saw it with Astroworld a few years ago. With Travis Scott, a very similar thing happened. If you're ever in a large crowd, keep your eyes up, keep your wits about you. If people are all being funneled into a small space, consider not entering that. Because it's insane how quickly these things happen. And unfortunately, in this case, it seems most of the evidence seems like it was RCB team officials who messed this up, but Hillsborough, it was the police, right? Heysel, it was UEFA. It was the people putting on the event. So it's there's so many ways this can happen, and unfortunately as sports fans, we just, or anybody, music fans, anybody who's going to be in a large crowd, keep your eyes up, keep your wits about you, and it's not worth dying or going to the hospital to see something. You will be able to see Virat Kohli again.
Yeah. Absolutely.
Let's talk about Test cricket, boys.
Let's talk about Test cricket. I want to talk about firstly the WTC final, which was a huge dub for the boys. As you mentioned, Marco Jansen dipped in order to play this game, and what a game it was.
It was.
I want to say congratulations to a cricketer that I didn't really believe in, but pulled through. Do you know who I'm talking about?
I think I do. I think I had to fill out a small apology form to them after this match.
Yes. Temba Bavuma. 36 in the first inning, 66 in the second, but probably just as important or more important in a low-scoring test match. Those are crazy scores. But just as important or more important, captaining the side to victory against Australia, a behemoth of a team, really.
Yup.
Let's go through the scores real quick. Australia bats first, 212 all out. In response, South Africa only musters 138, with once again Temba being second highest scorer of 36 off 84, and David Bedingham 45 off 111. Hello.
KG did take a fifer in the first innings, though. Good work.
Yes, we'll get to the bowling in a second. I just want to cover the batting real quick. 207, Australia musters up in response, setting a target of actually a mammoth target of 282 for South Africa to chase. And South Africa chases it with 1 day to spare. Aiden Markram with 136 off 207, getting out to Josh Hazelwood. Welcome back. And Temba Bavuma with that 66 off 134. Now, let's get to the bowlers. Yes, you're right. Kagiso with 5 wickets in 15 and a half overs. Marco Jansen with 3. And Keshav Maharaj and Aiden Markram with 1 each. This is like this Markram thing. This Markram thing will always surprise me. They always use him as a bowler, and he always like somehow delivers in a way.
They did it. Sunrisers did it too. LSG did it this year. Sunrisers did it. I think we did it when he was with PBKS.
Yes, everybody did it. Everybody's done it. And he's like the better version of Maxwell.
Yes.
You can actually count on him to
on both sides, and he's also like way less like obnoxious about the way he bats.
Yes. What I don't get about Mitchell Stark is that he always talks this huge game. I'm going to go prepare for the WTC championship. I'm going to do this and do that. He only took 2 wickets in the first innings and 3 wickets in the second. That's 5 wickets for the game. Whereas his captain took 6 wickets in the first and 1 wicket in the second. That guy played the IPL to completion. And
so did Josh Hazelwood, who played the IPL playoffs to their completion and took a wicket in each innings and went at like a run and a half in economy in the first innings.
Yeah. And like, what is this? Like, you're just a wuss, bro. Like, you just No one who likes me to start.
I'm a
Nobody.
little disappointed in Marco Janssen. I'm like, bruh, I know you won, but like, come on, man. We would have beat RCB. We would have beat him if we had his bat. Fuck.
Yeah, four
Okay.
wickets. He took
Still
four
love you,
wickets.
Marco.
He took 4 wickets in the WTC final. 3 wickets in the first innings, 1 wicket in the second. Didn't score though. Because I don't know. You rate him as a batter. I don't. He
I
got
rate
off
him
a
as I
duck.
rate him as a T20 batter. I don't know how he is in tests.
Yeah,
But
got off a duck and
when he was I think I read that when he was a grade cricketer, he opened the batting, so he's not a slouch. He made some serious runs for us for Punjab Kings this year. I don't know about South Africa,
rude,
but
rude
yes,
cricket.
whatever.
Rude.
It means he grew up learning how to bat.
You know who else used to open in grade cricket?
You and you still open.
Actually, no. Ravichandran Ashwin. Ashwin used to open in grade cricket, I believe.
Yeah, he
I'm
can
looking at
bat
that.
a little bit.
I don't know if you consider him a batter.
I
He's
don't
always
consider him a batter, but I consider him somebody who can bat.
he's always wanted his image to be like of a batter. He like when he was captain of Rajasthan, he was like, "Oh, I'm gonna open. I got this." Never scored. Never once scored.
He's
And I
not
think,
Sunny N.
yeah, he's not Sunny M. But yeah, that was the WTC championship. I'm very, very proud of South Africa. Anything that'll make Australia lose, even because they're so good. They're so good. They always make the championship finals, and it's so nice to see them not take one home.
Yeah. Well, and South Africa has been showing some serious form in tournaments. They were great in the Champions Trophy. They were great in the T20 World Cup last year. Nice to see them finally pull one out.
Yeah,
As a fan of a team who has been waiting to pull one out for 20 years, you know.
I mean they even
hope
came to
they do.
the World T20 final. You know, they
Yeah.
actually should have won that if it weren't for that crazy catch from Suryakumar Yadav.
So,
Also, $3.5 million cash prize for the winning team of the
dude,
WTC final.
cash money. Let's go. Time to party.
Easy. That's the easiest money they've ever made.
Somebody get Temba a Lamborghini. Let's fucking go. What are we even doing here?
All right, let's talk
So
about
poorly.
the India versus England test match that just went on. It was a very high scoring test match, as I mentioned, played
was.
at Headingley. India starts off very strong, 471 runs at Headingley, which is it's kind of unheard of for India to go to England and score that many runs in a single innings. You're
An
supposed to
excellent
be,
innings from Jaiswal. Sorry.
yeah, you're supposed to be led the charge of the 101 to start off. KL Rahul actually played one of his lower score innings of 42, right? Sai
Just
Sudarshan
rest him.
unfortunately starts his test career with a decade. Shubman Gill and Rishabh Pant 147, 134 each. Great stuff. Great stuff for the two Jamestones. And that's basically all there is to say. Karun Nair comes back into the squad and scores a decade as well. Jadeja continues his poor form, and Jasprit Bumrah yet again doesn't give me the century with the bat that I've always wanted from him. We move forward to England, who respond with 465, so only 6 runs short of India's 471 run total. Ollie Pope with 106 off 137. Ben Duckett with 62. Harry Brook. Now that was an unfortunate dismissal for 99. Bold.
Sorry,
Prasid
bud.
Krishna caught Shardul Thakur. Yeah, unfortunate display. Ben with 20. Jamie Smith with 40. Chris Wokes 38. Bryden Cars 22. So everybody kind of chipping in there.
Yeah. More consistency up and down the lineup than India had in the first innings.
Yeah. And then India respond to that with 364, which sets England a target of 371. KL Rahul comes in with what seems about normal for him, 137. Sai Sudarshan comes in with 30, which it's all right. He'll get the hang of it. He's in England.
Got something.
It's not like, it's tough for him because his debut is happening in England. If it was happening in India, these things are much easier. It's easier to debut in India and then kind of get the hang of international cricket that way.
30 off 48, all things considered. I think that's pretty strong.
I'll take it. Yeah.
Also, love this is more a first innings thing, but I love Shubman parlaying his test form from the IPL into actual test cricket.
That's funny. Exactly.
Because he was preparing. He earned that 100.
He did earn that 100. Yes. As did Rishabh Pant. Yeah, so Shubman Gill with that, and then Rishabh Pant coming in with double inning centuries. We talked about this with the somersault early on in the podcast. He already did it once. We don't need another somersault. Like the runs 250 runs in 2 innings is enough.
You earn that second celebration. You gotta throw in that creativity, Front
Yeah.
flips for the first one. Just for the first one.
Yes.
For the
Yes.
first one.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Kadum Nair coming in with 20. Unfortunate. And then Jadeja, 25 not out.
Not bad.
Unfortunate that nobody could really support him.
Yeah,
You know?
tail for India was bad in both innings.
Yeah. Yeah. We I think India has always struggled with tail problems. We have always had that issue. And the likes of Shardul Thakur are not really going to do it anymore. We need, I mean, if we take a look at the
Because there's a bigger squad. I know Arsh is in the squad, but they didn't pick him. I suppose that's not going to help with your tail problems.
the big person that I think is missing from the squad here, from the travel team, is Nitish Reddy. I think Nitish Kumar Reddy is a surprise sort of
You have
exclusion.
Shardul Thakur ahead of him. I know neither of them did great in the IPL, but like Nitish Reddy, that's a much better pick.
Yeah, 100%. And Nitish Kumar Reddy has more recent form to back himself, and he's younger by a significant margin. I would even honestly take Washington Sundar over Shardul Thakur. Like, even if he's not going to give you any overs, you still have that bowling option. He's younger, and he bats.
Yeah.
Right? So, I mean, Shardul Thakur is kind of, in England especially, I mean, it's not like he's going to beat any batsman for pace.
Yeah.
Right? And anyways, he wasn't given that many overs. So I'm not sure what the thinking was behind playing Thakur, but everything else about the squad is kind of okay.
Yeah.
Let's take a look at England's response. 373. They chased it down.
Poo.
With about a session to spare.
Poo.
Poo indeed. Ben Duckett with 149.
Un-American.
Un-American indeed. Un-American indeed. 149 for Ben Duckett. Zach Crawley, 65. Joe Root, nice, well done. Joe Root actually scored, which I hate when he scores. It pisses me off. 53, not out. Ben Stokes 33 and Jamie Smith 44. Good on Jamie Smith. He's had a good run this game with 40 and 43 or 44 not out respectively. Let's take a look at the bowling from both teams real quick. First innings. Josh Tongue and Ben Stokes.
Sorry, just to interject who the fuck is Josh Tongue?
Beats me. These English players have the weirdest names. I swear to God.
Like, is England overdoing themselves with random fast bowlers with dumb names here? Like, what the hell? I mean, we already had Bryden Carse. We have to deal with that. For all I know, he's named after a comedic actor. Like, what the fuck, man? Josh Tongue?
Crazy. I don't even know how you go about obtaining that last name. Like, how would even happen?
I've never heard of an Englishman called Tongue. It's like an American called Good Enough.
Who even cares? He's not going to be here in like 3 games. He's gonna be like I don't even remember that guy's name. The Australian opening batter, the 19-year-old guy who like
Sam Constas?
Yes, there we go. He's gonna be like that guy.
I guess he didn't play in the WTC final, did he? Damn.
Who predicted the demise of Constas' career after he messed with Kohli? Just saying. Yeah, boy. Josh Tongue. He's a constant disappointment. Tongue with 4 wickets in the first innings, and Ben Stokes with 4 wickets in the first innings as well. 1 each for Bryden Carse and Shoaib Bashir, who I believe was making his debut in this game, but I can't be sure. Congratulations to him, I guess. And India responded with 5 wickets for Bumrah, 2 wickets for Siraj, and 3 wickets for Prasidh Krishna. Now, the important thing is no wickets for Jadeja and 6 overs bowled only for Thakur.
At 6.33 and over, too.
This is the problem. Like, they're overworking Bumrah because they haven't picked that 5th bowler. You know, like, it's rough on him.
24.4 overs for Bumrah. Yikes.
It's a lot. It's a lot for somebody who you said can't play all the test matches because of his workload. And then in the third innings, where England got India all out for 364, England had Bryden Carse with 3 wickets, Wokes with 1, Tongue with 3 again. So good on Tongue.
Yeah, you have a dumb name to bowl well for. Josh Tongue. What the fuck is a Josh Tongue? Like,
it's actually so annoying. Yeah,
it's really annoying.
Shoaib Bashir with 2 wickets and Ben Stokesy with 1. And then in the final innings of India's bowling, where they only took 5 wickets for England's 373, no wickets for Bumrah, no wickets for Siraj, 1 wicket finally for Jaddu, 2 wickets for Krishna, and 2 wickets surprisingly for Thakur. He gets Harry Brook and he gets Ben Duckett for 149. So yeah, I'd say they need 2 changes. One, they need either they bring in somebody for Shardul Thakur, right?
Yeah.
Honestly, this is going to be an unpopular opinion. I would say sub out a pacer for Shardul Thakur, and I'd say bring in Reddy for Jadeja. As much as it hurts
For
me to say that.
Jadeja.
As much as it hurts me to
Ooh,
say that.
that's a bold take. I don't know if I'd bring him in. I bring in Reddy for like Karun Nair. Karun Nair's not giving you anything with a ball. He's not really giving you anything with a bat.
I would give Karun Nair a bit of a run, a bit more of a run, because he just
Jadeja?
Jadeja hasn't really been that consistent in test matches. That's my issue with him.
Okay.
I love him. You know I love him as much as
Yes,
any
I do.
man can run
I'm
any
just
other man.
like if I think of one thing with Karun Nair, it's like mostly disappointing me and being surprised when he doesn't.
Yeah. But I will say he scored a triple century
in
for
his
India
first test match
on debut. And
like 10 years ago.
and then like we didn't pick him after that, which is weird. So
Yeah.
I would say he deserves an extended run now if
Yeah.
he's being brought back into the team and see what he does. I mean, it's on him to prove us right or wrong, you know?
Yeah, dude, Arshin for Thakur, and there we go.
Arshdeep is in the squad, yes.
Yes.
I would say Arshdeep would be a good pick for pacer. Alternatively, Harshit Rana could be great.
Yeah.
But those are the only two that I would put into this side. In fact,
Yeah.
and it's got to be now that you've lost the first test, it's got to be Arshdeep. He's got more experience. He's a left armer. That's
Yeah,
always
I
a
was going to
plus,
say, you get the
right?
left arm pace, yeah.
Yeah, yeah. So
Plus, I want to see him fuck up England.
yeah,
Dude,
me too.
who isn't pumped about that? And I want to watch him bowl. I didn't watch him when he played for Kent in the county championship, mostly because the county championship camera angles are garbage. So I'm excited to watch him play in first class cricket. I just haven't watched any Indian domestic cricket. So
He's playing in first class cricket.
yeah, he played for Kent 2 years ago in the
That
county
I know,
championship.
but is he playing now?
Yeah, I think he plays for Punjab. He's not playing for Kent now, but I think that was just one season. But he's definitely playing for Punjab.
I mean, he's definitely playing for Punjab.
Doesn't he play for Punjab?
Ooh,
Arshdeep.
yeah, but that's not a county team.
No, it's first class cricket though.
Oh,
He
you
played
never
for
said.
Kent 2 years ago, so he is at least bowled here before.
Yes, he plays for Punjab.
Yeah.
And yes, okay. You confused me.
Yeah, but he like 2 years ago when he wasn't selected for the test team, he went and played for Kent instead, so he would get more attention for the test team. Also, probably because he wanted to swing some fucking balls around for once in his life.
Yeah, exactly. and live in England for a bit. That's always nice.
Kind of. It's still England. Although Kent is kind of a nice part of England, so.
It's always a negative to live in England, but the positive is you're living in England,
Yeah. Could be
And I
worse.
think everyone knew exactly what I memt by that. I think that's it for our India versus England coverage, right?
Yeah, I think so too. I think we can transition to about 30 seconds with the
Go, Chargers, go! Chargers, go! Go, go, go!
Hell yeah.
You know what's great about that is that we're not even going to get copyrighted for it because that freaking franchise doesn't exist anymore. Huge.
Lawlet Modi is going to get really mad at us, though, if he ever hears this podcast. He's going to be like, those fucking kids, god damn it. To the Chargers, really just like 3 pieces of news. Reminder that Chargers football will be returning on July 31st, people. It is upon us. And because of that, we're going to do our draft special this week. We're going to have that to you. Everybody that the Chargers drafted, everybody that we signed as an undrafted free agent, we have an opinion on, and we're going to get that to you. Very exciting, and it's going to be a good primer for watching the Hall of Fame game because probably almost nobody that's going to be playing in a regular season game for the Chargers is going to play in that game. But you know who will? You. You have some big Chargers news. don't you? About a certain Chargers game you will be attending?
A certain bowl I'll
A
be
certain bowl.
I'll be eating out of, so to speak. I will be in New Jersey. Should I be outing my location like this? It's fine.
New Jersey's a big state.
It's a big state.
It's a big state.
I will be in the tri-state area on the day, September 28th, I think is the day. The Giants will be playing the Chargers. And that is what I like to call the Oreo Bowl, the O Bowl.
The O Bowl. I like that. It's going to be huge. We had Nick Bowl last 2 seasons. It's about time we had the O Bowl.
Yes. I agree.
It's about time.
So the point is, I will be there for the O Bowl, the Giants versus Chargers game in Jersey. Come say hi. Come say hello.
Come meet Ariane, because I probably won't be here. Sorry. I can't make it across.
L spells loser, Nick.
To an undisclosed location where the Chargers Giants game will be played that you can definitely Google within a few clicks and find out exactly where it's being played.
And I specifically just said come say hi, so you know what I mean.
But we're not, it's going to be an undisclosed location on this podcast. We're not going to say here.
Yeah, that stuff you'll have to do for yourself, yes.
Yeah.
That's
but
okay.
I mean, regular viewers might have some ideas about where this game's being played.
Yes.
We're opening the season in Brazil.
We're playing the Chiefs in Brazil, right?
Playing the Chiefs in Brazil. How fucking sick would it be for us to beat the Chiefs in Brazil?
That would be sick, yeah. They wouldn't have the power of their fans over there, but I wonder, like, how big football is in Brazil. It'd be interesting to see how many people show up.
I think, I mean, the commentators on NFL Brazil certainly get pretty excited about it. What I would like to see happen is Patrick Mahomes getting a fender bender and call Jake from State Farm and him be like, yo, I can't help you out there. State Farm doesn't have jurisdiction in Brazil. Dude.
or what if State Farm did have jurisdiction?
I don't know how that works. He'd probably have to buy the extra insurance on the rent-a-car. Welcome to Rent-A-Car Talk with Nick and Ariane. 2 guys who are like barely old enough to rent a car. Let's talk about renting cars.
Dude, I rented a car. Yeah, I'm going there. I rented a car when my car was in the shop. Okay? Cause I'm not 25 yet, I'm 24. They charged me a surcharge of double. True story.
That's so dumb, bro.
It was supposed to be $130 for 7 days, and it ended up being $400. So more than double surcharge.
This has been Rent-A-Car Talk with Nick and Ariane. Tune in next week where we talk about the time I got upgraded to a nice Kia at the Hertz at Edmonton Airport by the 2 nice guys who worked there, and it had the least broken windshield out of all of the cars.
We should start a separate podcast about that because I do want to hear that story.
You kind of just heard the whole thing, man. But yeah, alrighty. I think that's been a pod. I think we've casted a pod.
Wait, you didn't even talk about the Chargers, bro.
Yeah, we did. We gave 3 pieces of Chargers news. They're coming back. We're doing the draft special. You're going to the O Bowl.
Oh, and also, what about you're going to talk about, like, Mario Hampton, Trey Harris?
That's the draft special, bro.
Oh, my apologies. So forget all those names that I just mentioned.
But here's a name to think about.
Here we go.
Next week,
yes,
on the podcast,
yes,
we will be joined by Shohei Ohtani, who's going to give us who he thinks India should bring in to augment their pace attack. It might be himself. So I'll be curious. He'll probably make more runs than Shardul Thakur. So for Ariane Ori, Kyle Jamison, and everybody else associated with the NFL's 407-7th team, my name is Nick Cates, and I'm saying, well...
I've got so much to say and so little time to say it. Great job, everybody. Who's got it better than us? Nobody!